After I graduated from university, I lived with my older sister in a residence that my grandmother gave us. My sister gave delivery to a daughter and I determined that I ought to appear for a new location to live. With the cash I have amassed for 7 years, I bought a small however extraordinarily relaxed apartment, with sparkling renovation, new fixtures and a lovely view of the park. During the day, I moved all my matters and at 9 p.m., worn out as a dog, I went to bed. The subsequent day I invited my sister, she is one of my relatives, to a housewarming party. When Ksiusha took her first steps into the room, like the movers who added my things, she was once now not amazed through the splendor of the archway with flashlights, the lovely carved cloth wardrobe with a mirror, the fluffy cream-colored carpet, however started out to sniff.
Vanya, have you bought a cat already?
What is this? She asked. I used to be surprised. I did not have a cat. I, of course, desired the cat to be the first to enter the new apartment, and given my tremendous love for animals, but alas, for one day a huge fluffy kitty did now not honor my rental with its presence. You scent like sake. Tomorrow we are going to bleach the whole thing out for you. Kenya croaked and went to appear around. In the evening, she did now not go away. The smell of sacks, alone, stated that the rental wanted to be entirely cleaned from the preceding owners, that it used to be not possible to sleep right here these days, and dragged me to her home. Whether her feel of scent has sharpened after pregnancy, or whether or not I have a nostril like an historical man in general, it does no longer matter. The reality is that you can now not argue with my homegrown sister. In the morning, at 6:30, the carry thundered. Small, daughter of Ksiusha, Lila used to be screaming like an ambulance siren. From nook to corner, Anton, my husband, tended me, pulling my hair, attempting to select a tie or a shirt. Nina, Anton's mother, sat in a corner, frivolously submitting her nails, ready for anybody to go away, her and Lily alone. For me, this complete anthill used to be very unusual. It had in no way been like this before. When I lived here, the entirety used to be quiet and peaceful. Anyway, earlier than I used to be entirely awake, my head used to be already aching. Then even steeper, already in 30 minutes, I, all ironed viaduct Ksiusha, slicked by way of Nina and poisoned, by means of Antonovsky espresso with a pie, stood at the bus stop, armed with rags and mops. The day started cheerfully. They got here to my apartment. Ksiusha snorted once more that it stinks to her. Some creep in the back of the wall used to be nailing something for an hour. Then a person's canine used to be howling.
God, my negative head.
At 10 o'clock in the evening, the rental used to be shining. I possibly would have considered my reflection in the wallpaper if I had had proper eyesight. Looking unluckily at the clock, Ksiusha collapsed on my mattress and right now commenced to snore. I, on the verge of insanity, retreated out of harm's way to the gym, knocked my jacket into a cube, put it below my head and right away fell asleep. At night, when the autumn relax had crept in through the open window and was once feeling my feet, any individual started to shake me violently by means of the shoulders.
What to do? Oh, yes, to flip round and open my eyes.
Well, who may want to it be? My sister, of course.
Ivan, if my mother and father had been alive, they would be disenchanted in you. You're a liar.
Where did you disguise your cat? It's scratching, somewhere. I've already regarded everywhere. Well, it is fortunate I did not discover it, or I'd have thrown it out the window. I took it all in slowly, cautiously managed to say that I did not have a cat, that I desired to go to sleep, opened my clenched fists, and closed my eyes again. Ksiusha stomped discontentedly into the bedroom. Well, now I cannot sleep in the cold.
I went into the bedroom, come what may, received used zucchini on the bed, blanketed myself with a ornamental coverlet and fell asleep.
I do not recognize how lengthy it took, however she woke me up again.
Do you hear that?
Now inform me you do not have a cat.
Or who is it?
Maybe a rabbit? I shivered and reached for the mild switch. Somewhere down the hall, anyone used to be scratching at the wall, as if they have been about to make a hole. It is now not clear what I used to be extra afraid of, that anybody in the condo without us, or that there would be a gap in the wall. I rushed out into the corridor, taking with me a stool, the first aspect that caught my eye. With a cautious appear around all the corners and nooks, I used to be making ready to hit anybody nicely on the head with a stool. However, this anyone someplace scratched, however, did no longer trap my eye. Kusha, wrapped in a blanket and with as a substitute incomprehensible feelings, laughing at me as I grabbed the stools, at the identical time, now not a little scared herself, watched from the bedroom. 20 minutes of wandering through the rooms, I nevertheless did now not discover the one who is scratching. Dead tired, I went to bed, now not searching Kusha or the sounds. I woke up at 9 o'clock. Kusha used to be hurriedly getting equipped to go home. I myself, to be honest, used to be a little afraid to be left alone, and below the pretext of supporting to end things, I went with my sister. They delivered the whole thing and then stated goodbye. I spent some other couple of hours strolling round the market, now not some distance from home, went in, had a chunk to eat, and commenced to assume about what I ought to do next. I did not favor to go up to the condominium at all. But then it dawned on me that in the milder day you can see simply everything, so I have to go. Just backyard the door, my pores and skin crawled. I stored questioning of these disgusting sounds. And so I inserted the key and froze. About 10-15 minutes. And then I flew a lifeline into the swamp. I remembered that a neighbor's man was once repairing something, and one of them was once hitting the walls. And from what I've heard from the neighbors, he is a drinker. So he was once scratching with something. I went in so proud and confident.
Knox.
Now, you mustachioed parasite, I'm going to ask you a question. I became round and was once about to ring the bell at the subsequent door when I heard a horrible crash from someplace in the bedroom, as if the residence had been collapsing.
The dirt flew.
Without taking off his shoes, he zipped into the bedroom. There used to be a massive gap in the wall subsequent to the corridor, and my neighbor used to be peering in with a sledgehammer in his hand. A piece of wall used to be mendacity on my fluffy carpet. A photograph from the wall crashed. Damn, there may be a gap in the wall.
Well, you are going to dance with me now.
But the neighbor, speechless, used to be pointing at the damaged indoors panel. Protruding from it was once a real, smoldering human hand. As we brought closer, we appeared down into the rift itself. The scent of corpses crammed my nostrils, revealing the rotting corpse of a building worker. Called the police. They all regarded peasant on sudden us to the station for questioning some human beings on inspection of the apartment. My neighbor and I have been released. The scientific examiner stated that the peasant died pretty recently, that he lived and decomposed, ate his tongue, and there had been clean damaged nails on his fingers, died of starvation and different things. I used to be now not actually interested. But what involved me as tons as how he received there was once why he did not suffocate. This query was once answered by way of two aged female who have been searching round the apartment, They stated that there used to be an entire tunnel round the perimeter of the corridor, up to the bedroom, then diagonally down and into the basement. The air was once flowing into the tunnel from the basement, and the establishing of the tunnel used to be boarded up. And the tunnel itself was once made even in the course of the extension. It used to be carried out about 2 months ago. Every other layer of panels was once applied.
I do not be aware of why, really.
So he breathed and moved there. And shouting for assist used to be useless, due to the fact that he both ate his time or had it reduced out in quick. I do not comprehend all these subtleties, however I did, so I informed you. The deceased used to be Nikita S., who disappeared 2 months ago. Apparently, it was once his scent that Ksusha felt. It used to be he who scratched the walls, hoping that they would store him. You know, I occasionally hear it scratching in opposition to the partitions at night.